Narrative about, making Kate cry, I think was the beginning of a real character assassination.
Most people do not relate to the kind of lifestyle that Kate Middleton and upbringing that she's had.
If you think you know everything about Catherine, Princess of Wales, you're missing the one moment that flipped her whole image upside down. What looked like just another polished royal appearance turned into something nobody saw coming. In a split second, she made a move so unexpected it had the internet going wild and people replaying the clip over and over like, did she really just do that? It was the kind of moment that proves even the most composed woman has a breaking point. Looking back now, it is different. It makes you question what was really going on behind that calm smile. Because for years, the world watched her play the role perfectly, supporting Prince William, raising her kids, showing up flawless every single time. She was the definition of control, elegance, and discipline. But behind all that perfection, pressure doesn't just disappear. It stacks up quietly until something gives. And then came the shift. And it wasn't subtle. At the coronation of King Charles III, people expected tradition, heavy jewels, and history dripping from every detail. But Catherine switched it up in a way that felt bold without saying a word. Instead of a traditional tiara, she stepped out in a modern headpiece designed with Alexander McQueen, and just like that, she rewrote the vibe of the entire moment. This wasn't just fashion. It was a quiet rebellion with style. And she didn't stop there. Just months later, she stepped out with something as simple as a messy bun. And somehow that tiny detail shook the palace more than expected. Loose strands, soft framing, a more relaxed look. It might sound small, but in royal standards, it was loud. People started talking, comparing and questioning double standards, especially when names like Meghan got pulled into the conversation. Suddenly, it wasn't just hair. It was a whole debate. Then came another moment that had people raising eyebrows. Bright red nails at Easter? That broke one of those quiet, unspoken royal rules that everyone knows but nobody talks about. Neutral tones were always the safe choice, but Catherine stepped out like, yeah, we're doing this now. And just like that, she showed she's not stuck in the past. She's moving with the times. But the real shock? That came at the British Academy Film Awards. Cameras rolling, red carpet glowing, everything looking picture perfect. And then, boom. She playfully tapped William in a way that felt so real, so human, it caught everyone off guard. Royals aren't supposed to move like that in public. But she did, and people loved it. It showed comfort, chemistry, and a side of their relationship we rarely get to see. Then things took a serious turn, and this is where everything changed. In March 2024, Catherine stepped away from tradition completely. No palace script, no formal tone, no titles, just her, speaking directly to the world about her cancer diagnosis. It wasn't polished, it wasn't distant, it was raw and real. She didn't just bend royal protocol, she shattered it. And in doing that, she connected with people on a level no royal had done before. Even during public visits, the shift kept showing. On a trip to Wales, instead of sticking to formal handshakes, she leaned in for hugs, real, warm, emotional moments with people. It instantly reminded many of Diana, Princess of Wales, and her way of connecting with the public. Catherine wasn't just representing the crown anymore. She was showing heart, breaking barriers, and making the role her own. So now the question hits harder than ever. Is she a rebel, or just a modern leader changing the game from the inside? Either way, one thing is clear. She's no longer just following the script. She's rewriting it in real time, and people can't stop watching. But here's where things get even more intense. Because behind every public moment, every viral clip, every quiet rebellion, there's Prince William right there beside her. And while they look solid on the outside, pressure like this doesn't just disappear when the cameras turn off. It builds. Their story might look like a fairy tale, but it's had its share of chaos too. From the moment they met at University of St. Andrews back in 2001, people have been locked in on their relationship. But behind the scenes? It wasn't always smooth. Breakups, tension, emotional moments that never made headlines the way they should have. By 2007, things got messy in a way nobody expected. Imagine planning your future, thinking everything is solid, and then getting hit with a breakup over a short phone call. That's exactly what happened to Catherine, and it shook everything. No cameras, no warning, just a moment that could have ended it all. And that's the part people don't always see. The polished image, the perfect smiles. That's just one side. Behind it is a story full of pressure, tough decisions, and moments that could have changed everything. While she was left trying to pull herself back together, Prince William was reportedly out living a completely different story. Partying, being seen with other women, and even linked to high society names like Isabella Calthorpe. It had people saying, "Wait, is this already over?" It really looked like the fairy tale crashed before it even had a chance to fully begin. But then, just as fast as it fell apart, they got back together, locking in their future and heading straight toward that massive 2011 wedding the whole world couldn't stop watching. But here's where things start getting messy, and not in a small way. Even after the vows, the palace life, and welcoming their children, the whispers never stopped. One detail had people obsessing like crazy: William never wearing a wedding ring. Meanwhile, Catherine, Princess of Wales, is always seen with that iconic sapphire shining bright. The official excuse: it's tradition. But let's be real. In a world where every tiny detail gets picked apart, that bare finger had people talking non-stop. Then came 2019, and that's when everything really heated up. The name Rose Hanbury started circulating everywhere, and not for good reasons. Reports claimed tension between Catherine and her former friend got so intense that it nearly turned into legal drama. And just like that, rumors of an alleged behind-the-scenes situation started spreading like wildfire. Even though statements came out shutting everything down as false, the damage was already out there. Once people start questioning a perfect image, it's hard to put that genie back in the bottle. And don't get it twisted. Behind those calm public appearances, things aren't always peaceful. Insiders have described their arguments as loud, emotional, and intense. Not just quiet disagreements, real blow-ups where frustration spills over. Imagine living under constant watch, with staff around you all the time, no real privacy, and pressure coming from every direction. That kind of environment? It builds tension fast. That pressure exploded in 2012 when a French magazine crossed the line and published private topless photos of Catherine during a vacation. It was a total invasion, and William was reportedly furious, but had to keep it together publicly, like nothing was wrong. Smiling for cameras while dealing with that behind the scenes? That's a different kind of stress. They fought back legally and won big, but moments like that don't just disappear, they stick with you. Then, just when things seemed like they were calming down, boom, another headline. In 2017, William skipped a major royal event and popped up in Switzerland on a boys' trip. Photos surfaced of him at a ski lodge with an Australian model, and people were like, "Wait, what's really going on here?" It became another moment that had the public questioning everything again. From early breakups to global headlines, this relationship has been through serious storms. This isn't just crowns and ceremonies. It's pressure, sacrifice, and holding it together when everything around you is shaking. So now people are asking, is this just part of growing into royal life, or is this a couple that's been through way more than we'll ever fully know? But while Catherine was dealing with all of that behind closed doors, something even heavier was building in public. The spotlight didn't just stay on her, it turned into a full-on attack at times. Becoming the Princess of Wales might sound like a dream, but the reality? Way more intense than most people could handle. When she married William, she didn't just gain a title, she gave up her privacy completely. Every move, every look, every expression, analyzed, judged, and picked apart by millions. And even after years in that world, nothing could have prepared her for what came next. By 2024, when she stepped away from the public eye, things didn't just stay calm. They exploded. The internet is filled up with wild theories, rumors flying everywhere, people creating stories with zero facts. What should have been a moment of concern turned into chaos. Even celebrities started jumping in, adding their opinions like it was open season. Some later walked it back when the truth came out about her health battle. But not everyone. Megyn Kelly came in strong, basically saying Catherine chose this life and should deal with it. Her take? If you wanted privacy, you could have stayed out of it. That kind of statement hit hard, especially considering the situation was deeply personal. And then things went even darker with Morrissey. Known for criticizing the monarchy, he took it to another level by blaming Catherine for something she had no control over. Back in 2012, during her hospitalization, a prank call situation led to a tragic outcome involving a nurse, and somehow he pointed fingers at her. Calling her out, questioning her reactions, even mocking her health? That crossed a line for a lot of people. And it didn't stop there. Even people who seemed supportive couldn't resist slipping in comments. Katie Couric praised her publicly, but still made remarks about her weight, feeding into rumors that were already swirling. Then Kelly Osbourne jumped in criticizing her for repeating outfits, while at the same time Vivienne Westwood pushed the opposite, telling her to repeat outfits even more, then turning around and critiquing her makeup style. It was like no matter what she did, someone had something to say. That's the reality she's been living in, a constant no-win situation. Too polished? Criticized? Too relaxed? Criticized? New clothes? Problem. Old clothes? Also a problem. It shows just how impossible the expectations are when you're under that level of attention every single day. And then, of course, there's the tension with Meghan. According to reports, things were complicated from the very beginning. There were attempts to connect, but distance stayed there. Insiders claimed conversations happened more about Meghan than with her, and that energy went both ways. Then came the moment everyone still talks about, the bridesmaid dress situation. For years, people believed one version of the story. But during that major interview, Meghan flipped it completely, saying, "No, it was actually the other way around." And just like that, the narrative shifted again, leaving people wondering what really happened behind those palace doors. When Meghan brought the situation back into the spotlight years later, it reportedly caught Catherine, Princess of Wales, completely off guard. From her side, that chapter was closed, done, buried. But suddenly it was back, louder than ever, turning into another round of he said, she said, that she couldn't even respond to publicly. And that's the trap, being in a position where everyone's talking, but you're expected to stay silent. And the tension doesn't stop there. Even within the royal inner circle, things aren't always as polished as they look on camera. There's been long-running talk that Catherine keeps some distance from Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. Imagine showing up to a royal event, dressed perfectly, only for all attention to lock onto William and Catherine while you're left in the background. Photos have shown awkward moments, forced smiles, and that subtle tension you can't fake. The hierarchy isn't just tradition. It creates real pressure and quiet rivalry. Then there's the complicated dynamic with Camilla. Rumors have floated for years that things weren't smooth at the start. Some even claimed Camilla questioned whether Catherine truly fit into the royal mold and allegedly tried to influence decisions early on. Whether all of that is true or not, one thing is clear. Catherine didn't just walk into acceptance. She had to earn her place step by step under intense scrutiny. And when you stack all of that together, media pressure, family tension, public expectations, it paints a picture that's way more intense than the fairy tale people imagine. Catherine's journey hasn't been soft or easy. She's faced health battles, non-stop criticism, and moments where the spotlight felt more like an attack than admiration. Yet somehow, she's kept that calm, composed image the world expects. So when you see her smiling at a public event, just know, there's a whole different story behind that smile. That's someone who's handled pressure from every angle and still showed up standing strong. Now let's talk about the part people don't always think about, the mental toll. Because to really understand her story, you have to look beyond headlines and outfits. This is about years of constant judgment, non-stop opinions, and a level of scrutiny most people couldn't handle for a week. From the very beginning, even before the ring, the media was already labeling her. Nicknames, jokes, comments about her relationship, it never stopped. And once she became official, the expectations didn't relax. They doubled. Suddenly, she wasn't just a girlfriend. She was a symbol people felt entitled to critique. The transition from everyday life into royalty sounds glamorous, but the reality? It's like living under a microscope 24/7. Every step, every word, every expression captured, analyzed, and judged forever. There's no off day, no just being yourself without consequences. And then came 2024, a moment that changed everything. When Catherine stepped back from public life to focus on her health instead of support, she got speculation. Wild theories, edited images, people questioning everything from her marriage to her well-being. It turned into a digital frenzy that pushed her into revealing something deeply personal before she was ready. That moment showed just how far things had gone. People weren't seeing a human being, they were seeing a headline. And it took a serious health announcement to remind everyone that behind the title is a real person dealing with real struggles. Comments from figures like Megyn Kelly highlighted that lack of empathy even more. The idea that fame removes your right to privacy? That's a dangerous mindset. It suggests the more visible you are, the less compassion you deserve, and that's a line that should never be crossed. Inside the royal system, things aren't simple either. It might look like one big supportive family, but in reality, it can feel more like a high-pressure environment where every move matters and every relationship carries weight. Whether it's tension with Meghan or subtle distance with others, Catherine has had to navigate all of it carefully. What makes her stand out is how she's handled it. No public breakdowns, no explosive interviews, no dramatic clapbacks. She stayed consistent, showed up, and kept moving forward even when the narrative wasn't in her favor. But that silence, it comes at a price. Because when you don't speak, others fill in the gaps with their own versions of the story. Still, despite everything, the criticism, the rumors, the pressure, Catherine has built something solid. She's taken traditional royal expectations and slowly modernized them. From speaking on mental health to focusing on early childhood development, she's added depth to a role that once felt distant. And yet, the criticism never fully disappears. Outfit choices, parenting style, public behavior. Someone always has something to say. That's the reality of her position. It's constant, it's heavy, and it doesn't switch off. But here's the truth. She's not just surviving it, she's adapting to it. From that early nervous phase to now, the growth is undeniable. She's no longer the quiet figure people underestimated. She's someone shaping her role in real time. Looking at everything, from the viral moments to the personal battles, one thing stands out. She's not the controlled image people once assumed. She's layered, resilient, and way more human than the title suggests. And as she continues stepping closer to becoming queen, the stakes only get higher. Alongside Prince William, she's not just preparing for a title. They're preparing to lead an entire institution into the future. Their recent roles in global events, state visits, and diplomacy show that shift clearly. They're not waiting for the crown. They're already stepping into that responsibility. And after everything she's been through, especially her health battle, people close to her say she's changed, stronger, sharper, more focused on what truly matters. Experiences like that don't just pass, they reshape you. Even their relationship has evolved. What started as young love has been tested, stretched, and strengthened over time. And now, that partnership is one of the most important parts of the monarchy's future. Looking back at where she began, it's a complete transformation. From nervous moments early on, to now carrying herself with confidence even under pressure. It's a shift you can't ignore. And the truth is, she's ready. Not just for the spotlight, but for the responsibility that comes with it. She's proven herself at every stage, first as a partner, then as a royal figure, and now as a future queen-in-waiting. Catherine isn't just part of the system anymore. She's becoming one of the people shaping what it turns into next. As everything continues to unfold, one thing becomes impossible to ignore. Catherine, Princess of Wales, isn't just stepping into history. She's reshaping it in real time. Every move she makes now carries weight, not just as a royal figure, but as someone who understands exactly what this role demands on a human level. And that's what separates her from the image people once had of her. She's no longer just the woman who married Prince William. That chapter is long gone. What we're seeing now is someone who has been tested publicly, privately, emotionally, and still came out stronger on the other side. That kind of transformation doesn't happen by accident. It's built through pressure, through criticism, through moments that could have easily broken someone else. And the reality is, the closer they get to the throne, the more intense everything becomes. The expectations rise, the spotlight gets harsher, and every decision starts to carry long-term consequences. This isn't just about appearances anymore. It's about legacy. What kind of monarchy will they lead? What kind of message will they send to the next generation? Because let's be honest, the world isn't the same as it was decades ago. Tradition alone isn't enough anymore. People want authenticity, connection, something real. And that's exactly where Kate has been quietly shifting the energy. Whether it's through the way she interacts with people, the causes she focuses on, or the boundaries she's willing to push, she's showing that change doesn't always have to be loud to be powerful. And standing beside her, Prince William isn't just watching this evolution, he's part of it. Their partnership has moved past the early chaos, past the rumors, past the moments that had people questioning everything. What's left now is something more grounded, more experienced, and honestly, more real than ever before. You can see it in the way they carry themselves now. There's a different level of understanding there, a sense that they've already faced enough storms to know what really matters moving forward. And that kind of foundation. That's exactly what the monarchy needs if it's going to survive in a world that's constantly changing. But don't get it twisted. The pressure isn't going anywhere. If anything, it's only going to grow. Every appearance, every statement, every decision will be watched, analyzed, and picked apart just like before. The difference now is that Kate isn't the same person she was when all of this started. She knows the game, she understands the expectations, and more importantly, she knows when to follow the rules and when to quietly bend them. That's power. Not the loud kind, but the kind that shifts things slowly, strategically, and in a way that lasts. And maybe that's the biggest twist in her entire story. For years, people saw her as the safe choice, the quiet one, the one who would never step out of line. But now, she's proving that strength doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like consistency, resilience, and knowing exactly who you are, even when the world keeps trying to define you. So as the future gets closer and the crown becomes less of a distant idea and more of an inevitable reality, all eyes are locked in, not just waiting to see what happens, but watching how she handles it. Because at this point, it's clear. She's not just preparing to wear the crown, she's preparing to change what it represents. And if there's one thing this whole story proves, it's this. Behind the crown, behind the headlines, behind every perfect photo, there's a woman who refused to break even when everything around her tried to push her there.